trooper using the OK sign means nothing, while others say it isn't okay at all. And Clark County racism invades a Lincoln County beach on the 4th of July. And remember all that drama about the Oregon Real IDs? Oregon is one of 3 states where you can't get a real ID yet. Well, we do, and that's why we did a little dance when we learned today's update about them. Here's the story.
I don't even dance that well. That was good. I'm Dan Haggerty. Hi, welcome to The Story. I hope you had a great holiday weekend. I hope you safely enjoyed friends and family and barbecuing or whatever it is you did. Thanks to everyone who left comments on my message on Facebook about the holiday. Check it out if you haven't, or if you even want to. While you're on there, let me know how you celebrated this weekend. I'm just interested what everybody did. You can email us at thestory@kgw.com. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram, or use Twitter and that hashtag #HeyDan. Now look, I know it is Monday. It is a very Monday-y Monday, as anyone after a holiday is, but I want to play some Thursday games right now and do a little throwback to one of my favorite topics here on The Story, something that we used to talk about a lot before, everything else happened. That's right, we're talking about Real ID. You might be saying, hey, I want to get one of these Real ID cards. It won't be available, in fact, until next July, just 3 months before the new rule takes effect. That looks spiffy in that little replay there, had a tie on and everything. That's because that wasn't the story. That was a newscast that was before the story, meaning this topic is even older than this show. We've been talking about it for a really long time. And well, now it is July. And while since then the Department of Homeland Security pushed the deadline to get Real ID to next October, the Oregon DMV just said today that they are officially starting to issue them. What? I can't believe it. This was a shock to me. I didn't think we'd be ahead of the game at any point in this, yet here we are. That means instead of 3 months of a mad rush to get millions of Oregonians to update their ID cards, we now have 1 year and 3 months to get the job done. That sounds like something that's actually doable. You still need $30 and a proof of identity, but after that, you're good to go. This is possible because of a $90 million investment into the DMV to update its old technology. And I know a lot of you have been asking and emailing us about when the DMV will be able to provide any services during this pandemic. But thanks to this new technology, there's a lot that they can do right now without you having to leave your home. So go ahead, put your feet up. Let's take a look at all the stuff you can do in the DMV's new online service from your favorite chair. You can schedule an appointment. You can get a replacement license or ID. You can order a driving record. You can pay a reinstatement fee or start an application. So great. I mean, I think this is a real win. And now that those IT folks are all freed up, maybe they can hop on over to the employment department and give them a hand. Do you guys know DOS? Because they still need all the help they can get. Now look, let's turn to the big story tonight, which is a really infuriating story on the coast from the 4th of July weekend. All right, police arrested 7 men, these 7 right here, after they got calls about these guys yelling racial slurs, giving Nazi salutes, and throwing firecrackers toward a black family. These men are from Clark County. They were cited and released hours later. Maggie Vespa spent the day kind of piecing together everything that happened in Lincoln City.
Police up and down Oregon's coast, including those in Lincoln City, were patrolling the beach this 4th of July weekend, mostly looking for illegal fireworks. The chief of police, Jerry Palmer, tells me they never expected anything like what happened Saturday night.
Can you tell me who called 911?
I don't know specifically how, which 911 call got us going down there.
Around 9:30 Saturday, police in Lincoln City got calls about a group setting off illegal fireworks and causing a disturbance. It was happening on the beach near the Inn at Spanish Head, a local hotel. The chief said officers arrived and found these 7 men. They were part of a larger group. Police confiscated some illegal fireworks. Then, the chief said, this happened.
As our officers made that seizure, these suspect individuals surrounded my 2 officers in their ATV and tried to engage them in a fight.
The chief said these men who were drunk tried to fight officers a couple times. Seeing they were outnumbered, the officers rode away and called for backup. And that's when the chief said these men set their sights on another target, a black family, adults and kids who were on the beach to celebrate the 4th. The chief said the men set up bonfires oddly close to the family and started blasting music.
Some of it would have been racist in nature. And then there was a lot of catcalling, and I have heard that some firecrackers and stuff may have been thrown in the family's direction. And then there was the Nazi signs.
In short, the chief said officers were afraid of the situation turning violent. They had total 31 Lincoln City police officers patrolling the entire beach that night.
And I believe there was 28 or 29 of us on scene to manage this incident.
Eventually, the chief says the Black family packed up and went inside the hotel. Police arrested and charged these 7 men. We're told they're all from Clark County. Here are the charges filed against all 7 Saturday. Among them, riot, disorderly conduct 2, and harassment. Hours later, the men were released. A court date hasn't yet been set. The chief told me today he's seen people online angry that the men aren't being held in jail. Here's what he said.
But the challenge that the state has right now is the COVID restrictions that have been created in our local jails and prisons. Inciting a riot is a Class C felony. The jail currently is only considering lodging individuals that are being charged with Class A and Class B felonies in person crimes.
He's also seen people wondering about hate crime or bias crime charges. Late today, the Lincoln County District Attorney released a statement saying at this point, he does not expect to file bias crime charges against those 7 men. He wrote under Oregon law, a bias crime must include offensive physical contact, destruction of property, or the threat of serious physical injury. In this case, he wrote, police prevented those things from occurring. And amid a time of intense scrutiny aimed at police nationwide, Chief Palmer added this.
We will take a hard stand against anybody that is trying to intimidate or cause harm to any individual, regardless of race, religion, creed, color, anything that you want to throw out there.
The family who was targeted was from out of town. Police haven't told us their names. We've asked to speak to them, and we're waiting to hear back. Maggie Vespa, KGW News.
Now, to many, the OK hand signal is no longer OK because white supremacists use it. So Saturday in Salem, when a man caught video of an Oregon State police trooper flashing the OK sign at an anti-Black Lives Matter protester, it did not take long for this to go viral and for OSP to face some serious questions, especially after the man in that shirt that says Black Bikes Matter patted the trooper on the shoulder. So on Sunday, we heard from OSP. They said that this was all a big misunderstanding and the trooper wanted to make sure that the counter-protester was actually okay after someone pushed him to the ground. And this body camera video right here shows those moments. Now, regardless of intention, State Representative Janelle Bynum said the video disturbed her and that, quote, leaders should be able to recognize co-opted gestures like these and understand the urgency when people of color sound the alarm. I talked with multiple people in law enforcement who said they had no idea what that symbol meant. Now, I can already hear people at home. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're probably saying to the person on the couch next to you, that we are blowing this out of proportion, that I'm making this into a story, that the OK symbol has been around for a long time, and for overwhelmingly most of us, it means, are you okay? I mean, it's an emoji on my iPhone. I get it. I think of it like this, all right? It was probably really loud out there. The cop was, wearing a ton of gear. Maybe he had his face and his mouth blocked, so he had to communicate however he could. And in that vein, I'd like to be clear too, because it is undeniable that it actually has been adopted as code by white supremacists like Richard Spencer and others. The Anti-Defamation League classified it as a symbol of hate in September of last year. And it is an effective code, mainly because it is so deniable. White supremacists can always say, what? I was just flashing the OK sign. Don't make such a big deal out of it, which is exactly why we are making a big deal out of this. That said, I'm not accusing that trooper in that video of anything. I hope that he is a good man asking someone if they are actually OK after a fall. But from now on, maybe let's go with a thumbs up, just to avoid any confusion, all right? That said, these concerns aren't a product of paranoia. Somebody who knows all too well what corrupt cops are capable of is Michael Fesser. West Linn police arrested him in 2017 with the help of some PPB officers. Problem is, Fesser, who is black, you can see, didn't do anything wrong at all. He was innocent. They were trying to scare him, which they did. That man there, West Lynn's police chief at the time, arrested him as a favor for a friend who just so happened to be Fesser's boss. Now, ultimately, Chief Terry Timius left the force on his own. And 3 weeks ago, the West Lynn police officer who led that bogus investigation was fired. Yes, I said 3 weeks ago, even though this happened 3 years ago. Now, I had a chance to talk to Michael Fesser, who sued the city of West Lynn and was awarded more than $500,000. Up until this point, how was your relationship, not personally, but what was your ideas of being a black man and dealing with law enforcement?
Well, you're terrified being a black man dealing with law enforcement because not just my case, many more before me, after me, but you see what they can do when this racism is so embedded in a force that's protected, and they overstep their boundaries to get convictions. And black and brown people are the target of this in my community and around Portland that I know of.
How did this situation that you have gone through change the feeling that you had when it came to that relationship between people of color and law enforcement? Did it confirm what you already believed? Did it exacerbate it and make it seem like an even bigger issue? How did it feel to be at the center of the problems that we're talking about in this country?
Oh, it felt like, wow, they can really do this. You hear about it, you read about it. And I've grown up in a community where this happens. But when it happens to you, when you have changed your life, you're doing the right thing, a God-fearing man and married man, and they do this and they can paint the picture and everyone believes it. And it's not, it's like, I don't have a chance at this point. I'm fighting for my life, something that I shouldn't have to, and I'm in fear of what may happen to me and my family in the hands of people that have power, which are in higher places.
Now here's something that we think is worth your time. Black Oregonians on the other side of the law. The Oregonian spoke with 7 police officers of color about the ongoing protests against police brutality. It's a look at what it's like to be a black or brown person in a traditionally white industry and one that's often accused of racism. These officers are all different people. They all have different viewpoints here. After George Floyd's death, one officer that they talked to wondered if they should quit the force. Another said it made them want to be an officer even more. I mean, it is a really interesting, it's a great read. I think you should check it out. It's right now on the Oregonian's website. The man poised to be the guy reforming Portland's system of justice just learned when he's going to be starting the job. Incoming Multnomah County DA Mike Schmidt will start on August 1st, a full 5 months before he was supposed to begin. His predecessor, DA Rod Underhill, decided to retire early to make way for the new guy. It wasn't official until today when Governor Brown said she's naming Schmidt as the official replacement. I had a very thorough conversation with Schmidt last month. We discussed his status as a reform candidate and how exactly he wants to reform our justice system, including getting rid of cash bail. It's an interesting conversation. I think you'll like it. You can check out the whole thing right now on the KGW YouTube channel. Now, when the story continues, we're going to talk to Kristen Severance. She's going to help us understand why it can be so hard to get a refund in the time of COVID-19. Plus, I think we're all hungry for a little time that was pre-pandemic. So we're going to hop into the KGW vault for the origins of one of Portland's most well-known institutions.
I made a NyQuil donut. It's just how gross can that be? You know, we ate it and it tastes pretty good.
And in all this time, can I just say, I don't think much has changed. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back to The Story. Thanks for being with us. Remember, this is the show that isn't possible without you watching at home and commenting. Hopefully you're sitting there with your phone in your hand. That's how we watch TV nowadays, right? So get your phone out. I'm sure you're already holding it. Join the conversation. Use the hashtag HeyDan on Twitter. You can email us at thestory@kgw.com also. And even if we don't put whatever you say on TV, we read every single one, and it helps us kind of drive the conversation. Trust me, you are being heard regardless of whether or not I say your exact words on TV. And we're getting a lot of questions about masks. Here's a different one from David. He asked, how's the bank robbery rate? Are more bank robberies happening since we have to walk into banks with masks on? I know that you were probably asking it as a joke, but we took it seriously. We checked with the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office, and they say No, robberies have actually been below average since mid-May, which is good, I think. Same thing with crime in general, but certain crimes are up in certain areas right now, like shootings, for instance, in Portland. So far this month, police have already responded to 17 shootings across the city, including 3 just yesterday. That's way up from this time last year when police responded to just 5 shootings in the first 5 days of July in 2019. And let's take a look at the police response times, and that's something people have been curious about too. Portland police say since the protests started on May 29th, it's taken them longer to respond to calls. For high priority stuff, response times have increased from 7.5 minutes to about 12 minutes. Not too surprisingly, Portland police are getting way more calls for arson, vandalism, and burglary than usual, but most other crime is down across the board. Summer vacation to San Diego, $2,000. Front row tickets to see your favorite band, $400. Brand new bike for the Naked Bike Ride, $250. Having everything canceled because of a worldwide pandemic? Well, no, not priceless, not even close. In fact, you may not see a penny of that money back unless you know how to get a refund. Kristen Severance joins us now to explain why it is really not always that easy for people.
Not easy at all. Getting your money back really depends on the event, venue, and the fine print on your ticket. And the most important point here, did organizers postpone or cancel? The scenic Oregon coast and family bonding were just 2 of the many reasons Diane Caldwell signed up her family for the Newport Marathon. I talked with Diane and daughter Michelle.
And so this year my husband and I signed up. 4 of our kids did and 1 of our grandkids did. So we had 7 of us.
And Michelle, what do you like doing as a family? What do you like about this?
I really don't enjoy the training technically, but I do enjoy just hours of time. My mom and I mostly have trained together I've joined the last 2 consecutive years.
They paid $700 to run. But when COVID hit, the race was off, not canceled, but postponed until 2021.
All registered participants were going to be receive a deferral so that they could run next June, on June 5th. And I can't do that. My husband and I can't do that, and none of our kids could do it either.
The family requested a refund.
We're just counting every precious penny, really. So that refund would have been a huge relief to me in my situation, like really, really major.
Race organizers said refunds would not be issued because the race was moved to next year.
So with all of us paying this year, and everybody paying next year, they're going to receive beyond the proceeds that they could possibly make for this race. So I just don't think that's fair.
This family is hardly alone. We've received similar emails from upset runners, concert goers, and event attendees for months. The Moda Center in Portland's Lloyd District canceled, postponed, or rescheduled more than 50 events so far, including NBA games, Janet Jackson, and Justin Bieber. And Edgefield, the popular outdoor concert venue in Troutdale, has canceled or moved more than a dozen concerts scheduled for this summer, including Blondie and Bare Naked Ladies. Danielle Kane with the Better Business Bureau says getting a refund isn't always easy.
So there is some recourse. This is really, really on a case-by-case basis. I really can't stress that enough when it comes to refunds for events, concerts, sporting outings, things like that.
Her advice, check the policy and read the fine print to guide you on what to do next. Even if a refund is listed as an option, it's not a guarantee. Customers may have to take certain steps like emailing or requesting a refund in writing within a certain number of days. For example, for events at the Moda Center, you have to go through Ticketmaster. A canceled event will get you a refund in 30 days. According to the policy, you could get money back for a rescheduled or postponed event, but it's not guaranteed. At Edgefield, cancellations are automatically refunded. If you can't attend a rescheduled or postponed event, you can get tickets to another event at Edgefield or gift card. Kane says it's really up to each vendor.
Even if it's postponed indefinitely, or even if it's postponed with dates that have already been listed, in both cases, the consumer does lose some leverage there because the vendor is able to say, hey, it's still happening.
Which brings us back to the Newport Marathon. The race director told KGW the nonprofit is a volunteer organization. They make no money. All the proceeds go to the athletic departments at the Newport middle and high schools. and they can't give refunds.
It, like Michelle said, it just leaves a sour taste in your mouth. And I really, really would love to run another race there. Can't do it next year, but maybe the year after. And all of us feel like we want to find another organization now.
Okay, Kristen, it just really feels like this is a case-by-case basis type of thing.
Yes, it's up to each individual vendor. I mean, the race director told me he wishes that he could give money back, but he said the organization couldn't. If you want to go through and read all of the different policies, just go to our website or go on the app, click on this story, and you can just click through all the different policies. I linked them there, right there on the story. And Dan, the one thing that customers can control, what you decide to do the following year.
You got it. Kristen, thank you. Now, I'm sure a lot of us are thinking fondly back to the days where going out to dinner wasn't a life and death kind of gamble. And today, the KGW Vault is a nice reminder of what that felt like. So we dug around, we found some video from 2003 and the opening of one of Portland's most famous culinary institutions.
A little door on 3rd Avenue few ever notice, but take a peek inside.
We've been watching the sunset and the sunrise.
You'll find a business that doesn't stop for the clock.
Not rocket science, but it is chemistry.
Welcome to Voodoo Doughnuts. Not as sinister as it sounds.
There's so many O's in the word voodoo, they look like donuts.
The brainchild of Portlanders Trey Shannon.
You got any donuts?
And Kenneth Cat Daddy Pogson.
You have to experiment.
The two never pictured themselves doing this, but jumped in without even knowing where to start.
Never made any donuts, so we went to donut camp down in Pico Rivera, California.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
Well, we didn't either, but...
Armed with that donut camp insight, they opened up this place downtown and immediately started trying some unorthodox things.
I came in one night, Cat Daddy's all, I made a NyQuil donut. It's just, how gross can that be? And then we ate it, and it tastes pretty good, you know, if you like the taste of NyQuil.
Yeah, it's really just finished off with licorice.
NyQuil donuts aside, these guys just landed a huge new client after a gamble with the U.S. Women's Open.
It was a big test. He ate, executive chef from Pumpkin Ridge, and he bit into them and said that they were really good.
Now busy making more than 3,600 donuts, all for the tournament. So if these guys seem a little out of sorts this week...
Guys got what you need? Wants to wear the donut suit or anything?
Give them a break and maybe stop by for a new creation.
Donut camp? Donut camp. Is that still a thing? I'm going to look into that. I'm going to hey Dan that. I need to know. Hey, if you got something you'd like us to look into or even find in the KGW Vault, reach out, hashtag HeyDan on Twitter. You can email us at thestory@kgw.com, ask us some questions, leave us some comments, and we're going to read a couple of them when we finish the story next. Hey, let's talk about some comments. I got this one coming from Ashley using hashtag HeyDan. She said, for some reason I'm blocked by the KGW Twitter account. Can you help me out? Well, that depends, Ashley, on the story behind for some reason. But we'll look into it. I'll see what I can figure out. I got this one coming from Arlene. She said, hey, Dan, thumbs up is considered offensive in many cultures. Because I said, hey, instead of using the OK symbol, maybe we just go with thumbs up. And she says it means up yours. Don't use it instead of the OK sign. Well, that's a decent point in other cultures, but not in our culture. You know, when you say, hey, peace, everybody, if you do that to someone in England, you might have to dodge a punch. So it is different in different countries considering what gestures you're using. But in this country, we can do this, we can do this. The OK symbol is one that is starting to be defined a little bit differently. And that takes me to this email that we got from Gary. He said, that's BS, Dan. I'm tired of losing my right to use symbols and gestures I've used all my life because somebody might be offended or take it the wrong way. It's time for people to grow up and quit being so sensitive. Colorful word, then sensitive. So I'm not telling you what you can and cannot do. You can make your own decision. I mean, that's what this whole show is about. We give you the information and we tell you what the facts are. And the facts are that white supremacists are using that symbol as code, as a way to communicate who they are to other people who they believe might believe the same things they are. Do with that what you will, okay? The point of the story was that people in law enforcement should educate themselves on that, considering what's going on in this country right now. So, think what you want. That's part of this show. Thank you for writing in, and we're going to continue to have these conversations right here on The Story, your conversations. That was a Monday. Whew! The week just started. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Enjoy the news at 6:30 with Laura Porter.